Hi, it's Anne here, and today's video is my introduction for my Pan That palette for 2024. Now, if you watched my finale for 2023, you're going to say, Anne, but you said you weren't going to do this in 2024. Well, I'm not, but I am. I saw this project on the Fantastic Ladies website, and I thought, you know what? Not website, Facebook page, and I thought, this sounds like a good project. This sounds like something I can do. I'm not panning a whole palette or anything like that. It's going to be a little bit more condensed and a little bit more achievable for me, and using some things that I'd like to kind of use, get out of my collection, or keep if I want to. So let's get started. So the Fantastic Ladies project for this year is called, I think, Fun Size Palette. So the whole point is like a small palette that you can kind of fit in your pocket. And the first palette I chose was this one. This is the Charlotte Tilbury, the Dolce Vita palette. I got this in a lucky bag in 2019. I don't like this palette very much, but it's so freaking expensive that I have a hard time letting it go. So the objective for this palette is I want to try and hit pan on this shade, and then we're going to see if I'm going to keep it or not. I really don't like this shade at all. It's kind of useless. And these two shades I can kind of take or leave. I feel like they end up looking fairly similar on the eyes. Let's just do a swatch of this palette. I'd like to get use maybe out of the brown shade, but I don't think I can hit pan on it. Just the way I use eyeshadows. I don't use a lot of dark eyeshadows, so I find it a little difficult to try and pan one of those. And yeah, this glitter shade, I don't know. We're gonna play with it. I'll probably end up digging into it because I find it's very like hard pan. It really doesn't do a whole lot for me. I just don't love it. I was pretty excited when I first got this, but I felt like the quality, let me just get in real close here. I felt like the quality kind of, let me drop the brightness a little here too. There, hopefully you can see that a little bit better. See that shade you can barely see. So I feel like that's going to be an easy shade for me to pan. And again, I'll take it or leave it on the rest of these shades. Again, an overall kind of warm story, which is not something I use very often. But yeah, we're going to keep this in like as long as possible, probably a whole year. But I really just want to focus on hitting pan on this shade. And then I decided, because I was only really focusing on one shade in that palette, that I felt like I needed a second palette, and I thought this guy was going to be good. This is very cute, very pocket sized, although if you put it in your pocket, it's kind of thick. It's probably going to look weird. But this is the multi-cube from the brand I'm Meme. I think this is, yeah, 01 Sweet Pink is the shade. I think there was 2 or 3 of these. I got this from Stylevana. They sent this to me. I have made orders myself to Stylevana, but this is something that they sent to me. I feel like, again, this is going to be easy for me to use, particularly the light shades. Again, I'm primarily going to focus on finishing this shade. I would like to hit pan on the other shades. I don't know how deep these are. It'll be interesting. There is a blush down here as well. I might use it, but it's not really part of this project. Like, it's there, but the focus is on the eyeshadows. Let's do a little swatch of these guys. Again, they're very light. They're very typical of sort of Korean, Asian skincare and beauty, where it's very natural, very sheer kind of makeup. So I feel like these should be easy to wear every day. And quality-wise, I feel like this is actually very similar to the Charlotte Tilbury quad. And so it's very funny that price-wise, they are so different. You can barely see that top shade there. That's that sort of, for me, it's like a skin tone shade. Let me just drop the brightness a little bit here, and maybe you can see the shades a little bit better. But yeah, I feel like the 2 lightest shades are going to be easy for me to pan or hit pan on. I feel like this shade will be easy for me to finish, because I think I'll just use it like as an all over blending kind of shade, setting kind of shade. The thing that I don't like about this palette is I thought it was going to be more pink cool, and it's more pink warm. It's more peachy pink. And again, not a huge warm toned, why is that hard to say, eyeshadow person. I do like them, but they're not something I wear. It's easier for me to everyday go neutral cool versus everyday go warm, if that makes sense. Even though I do like to wear warm, I feel like the shadow that I'm wearing today kind of looks similar to this. Like, it's neutral warm, but it's not an everyday thing for me. I'm more gravitate towards neutral cool, if that makes sense. So this is more of the focus in terms of trying to finish as much as I can out of this. We'll see where we end up at the end of the year. Again, I'll see how this one goes. If I really dislike it, or if I hit pan on this shade and finish this shade and then I'm done with it, we'll let it go. But if I like the other shades, I might just keep the whole thing. And then true to my Pan That palette for last year, I felt like just talking about the eyeshadow palette's like not a whole lot. So I feel like I need to throw in more. So I am throwing in more. I'm doing fun-sized face palettes. So again, there's a bit of a twist to this. I don't know if I'll finish these. I have toyed on and off putting these in a panning project. The reason why I toy not is it's like, why am I wasting my time and effort on something that costs like, well, probably costs like a penny to manufacture. It costs like $0.25 in retail value. They're from the Color Workshop, but I never get rid of them because I did like them. And I don't know, I have a hard time getting rid of them. So I feel like this is the way for me to like deal with these once and for all. So we have an Illuminate palette. I'm not going to swatch these because maybe I can. Let's maybe swatch them. There's the Illuminate palette, which is what they call the highlight palette. Try and swatch them all. Maybe I'll swatch them on my arm here. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see those shades because again, they're pretty light. That one light shade's pretty easy to see, but I feel like that should be fairly easy to use. This shade's a bit gold, so again, don't know how well that'll go, but these two shades at the top should be fine. This is the bronze palette. I'm also super curious to see, I feel like these are going to be super shallow pans, so they might be really easy to pan. And I'm kind of hoping for that. Again, don't know about finishing them, but panning them, oh, that one's pretty dry. That's interesting. But panning them, like hitting pan, I think might be achievable. But I feel like finishing them might not be. But as long as I hit pan on them, I might be then comfortable to letting them go. So there's the bronzer palette right there. And again, there's quite a little variety in there. Like, I like it. I like this like really orangey shade. It's kind of fun. It'll be fun to mix with other bronzers, I think. I think it'll be really fun in the summertime. And then lastly, we have this little blush palette, which this is kind of like a highlight on the top there. It's like a pinky highlight, whereas all the other highlights are more champagne-y or gold tone. So it'd be nice to have like a bit of variety there. So kind of hard to see those. Again, maybe if I drop the lighting down a little, can see them a little bit better there. So those are the 4 shades in that blush palette. So yeah, if I hit pan on these, I'd be happy. I'd really be happy. I think it's doable because I have a feeling they're going to be small pans. But even if I don't, just using these guys, just to use them and decide if I want to continue to keep them or if I'm finally ready to let them go. I don't know why I have such a hard time letting these go. There's really no reason for it other than like they're cute. And the quality is pretty good, but yeah, so that's it. So they're fun size too. I felt like they fit the project, even though they're a little outside the scope. And they are going to compete with my like regular project pan as well, but that's fine. I have been doing face palettes like this last year, and I felt like it worked out well. Again, with these being smaller, I feel like they're a bit more achievable for me. So fingers crossed that this is going to work out. And again, I expect to keep these in the project for the full year, but we'll see. We'll see. I do have a backup strategy or an alternative plan if those don't work out or if I decide like I'm ready to let them go. We'll see how that goes though. So anyway, I hope you like my intro for my Pan That palette, fun size palette project for 2024. I'll put the list of people down below that I know are doing this project as well. And yeah, I hope you follow along this year. And if you like this video, feel free to give a little thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel here in Toronto, Canada. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye.